In this video, I will count down all the books that I've reviewed in 2020 and let you know what my favourite was. Keep watching to find out. Hi, I'm Linda and welcome to my YouTube channel Better You Books, where I read and review books that help you to become a better version of yourself. Since I started this YouTube channel back in May, I have reviewed 14 books, and soon as it's the end of the year, I thought it was a good time to look back at all of those books and let you know what my favourites were. Regular viewers will know that I score every book that I review out of 5, but you might not know how I get to that score. I actually look at 4 different factors and then average them to get my score out of 5. So the factors I look at are format and design, lessons learnt, actionable insights, and enjoyability. I'm now going to count down all the books that I've reviewed this year from number 14 down to number 1. So keep watching till the end to find out what my favourite was. Number 14, Emotional Agility by Susan David. Susan says that the aim of this book is to become more aware of your emotions, to learn to accept them, and then to flourish by increasing your emotional agility. The reason that this book is last in my list of books that I've reviewed this year is because I just didn't connect with it. I would have liked more personal insights, more research, more case studies, but I did learn some really valuable lessons from it. The most important one for me was to make peace with even your most difficult emotions. I would recommend this book for someone who feels that their emotions control them and not the other way around. And also, it might be a better fit for people who prefer books written by experts, as Susan is an award-winning Harvard Medical School psychologist. In Joint 12, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. In this book, Hal talks about the 6 habits he says that will transform your life before 8 a.m. This book started me doing my own miracle morning, which has had a positive impact on my life, so I am grateful for that. However, I feel like the book was a bit repetitive at times, the ideas were not original, and I would have liked more research into each of the habits. I would recommend this book to somebody who wants more energy and more focus in their life. However, you don't have to read the book to start your own miracle morning. In fact, in my next video, I'm going to tell you all about it and also tell you about the 30-day Miracle Morning Transformation Challenge that I took on and how it went. Joint 12, Mastering Your Mean Girl by Melissa Ambrosini. Melissa says that this book is a no BS guide to silencing your inner critic and becoming wildly wealthy, fabulously healthy, and bursting with love. I didn't hate this book. I just didn't love it either. It wasn't very memorable, and Melissa can be really hard to relate to because her life just feels too perfect and she can come across a bit preachy at times. I did really get quite a lot of value out of the exercises in this book though. Some of them had a profound impact on me and there were a few aha moments. So those actually bumped the score up. Otherwise, without the exercises, I think this would have been more of a 3-star book. I'd recommend this book to people who are already fans of Melissa or for people who want to have a gentle introduction to your inner critic. Number 11, Get Out of Your Own Way by Dave Hollis. This was the first book review I did back in May and it's still my most watched video. I learned about Dave through his soon-to-be ex-wife Rachel, who's going to feature later on in this list. This is a self-help book written from the lens of someone who once believed that self-help was for broken people. In this book, Dave tells the 19 lies that he once believed and in doing so got in his own way. The book is easy to read and fairly enjoyable, but it's scored quite low on actionable insights. However, I think it could be a good book for people who are new to personal development or are skeptical of self-help as a sort of gateway book. Joint 9, Didn't See That Coming by Rachel Hollis. So now moving on from Dave to Rachel. Regular viewers will know that I am a big Rachel Hollis fan and she in fact features 3 times in this list. However, this is my least favourite of her personal development books. It's written for somebody who's going through a hard season and needs help to get through it. However, I feel like Rachel was trying to make this book too many things to too many people. She talks about grief, she talks about losing your job, she talks about divorce. However, I think personally that it would have been much more powerful if she had just focused in on grief. Tragically, Rachel lost her brother to suicide when she was a teenager, and all the stories where she talked about him and her subsequent grief were extremely emotive. I'd recommend this book for anyone going through a hard season and needs help from someone to motivate them to stand back up. Joint 9, Happy by Fern Cotton. Happy is the prettiest and most creative book that I've read this year, definitely. However, the reason it scored lower for me on this list was because it lacked depth and tangible takeaways. Fern is best known for being a presenter, so she's not a personal development expert. But I think the reason that her books, Happy but also Calm and Quiet, have sold so well is because people like it when public figures open up about their mental health, and Fern is open, honest and vulnerable in this book. I'd recommend it to people who are already fans of Fern, creative types, and those who are new to personal development. Number 8, Untamed by Glennon Doyle. In this book are stories of how Glennon got caged and how she got free. I think some people might find it a little controversial that I have this as number 8 on my list for this year, because since this book was released earlier this year, it's become a phenomenon, and everyone from Adele to Reese Witherspoon have been raving about it. And I did really enjoy it. Glennon is a fantastic writer. She's so open, she's witty, and it was a real page turner, so I really do recommend this book. However, I did feel that the standard wasn't consistent the entire way through the book, and towards the end it did start to drag a little for me. I recommend this book for women, definitely. Men can read it, but they should know that it is aimed more at women. And I think that women with children or those going through the marriage breakup or the end of a relationship will get more out of this book. Now we have another tie, Joint 6, Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg. Sheryl has been the Chief Operating Officer of Facebook since 2008, and she says that she wrote this book to encourage women to dream big, forge a path through the obstacles, and achieve their full potential. This book was released in 2013, and it has attracted a fair amount of criticism, especially in recent years. However, I don't think a lot of that criticism is fair. I've included a link to my full book review so you can find out more of my thoughts on that. Sheryl backs up everything she says with meticulous research, which I really enjoyed. And I just like the way this book opened my mind. And to be honest, I was shocked at how much of the book I was shocked at. I would recommend this book to all women in the workforce, especially those with children, and I think that male managers should read it too. Joint 6, Girl, Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. This is the second entry for Rachel Hollis on this list. This is the first book of hers that I read and her first personal development book. This book was a phenomenon when it was released, and in 2018 it was the second most popular book on Amazon.com. I think the reason why this book has been so popular is because in the book Rachel's really honest and vulnerable, and she talks about a lot of things that women think but rarely talk about. I really like Rachel's style. She can have you cry in 1 minute and laugh in the next, and the way she writes I find it incredibly inspiring and motivating. I would recommend this book to someone who wants more for their life and needs someone to fire them up. And now for the top 5. Number 5, Just Eat It by Laura Thomas. This book is about intuitive eating and how to encourage a more peaceful attitude to food in your body. As you can see, it's pretty hefty, but it's quite easy to read as Laura's got a really nice style and it feels quite conversational, even when she's discussing the research. However, if you can't abide any swearing, then you will not like this book because Laura does not mince her words. She's unflinchingly honest, but she's also witty too. And I like the fact that this book takes a quite holistic approach. It's not just about food and eating, but also about intuitive movement and body acceptance too. However, it's a lot to take in and it's so hard to change the habits of a lifetime. So when I first read it, I promised I was going to reread it one chapter at a time, and I still haven't done it, but I promise I'm going to do it in 2021. I would recommend this book to anyone who has had issues with disordered eating or is fed up of dieting and wants to try and achieve a healthier and more balanced approach to food. Number 4, The Squiggly Career by Helen Tupper and Sarah Ellis. They say that this book will help you to become happier and more successful in your career, and I ordered it as soon as I knew that I had been made redundant. I read it at a time when my head felt squiggly and I honestly didn't know what to do next, and it really helped to give me some clarity and to inform my future career. It's not enough just to read this book though, you have to really commit to doing all of the exercises. And through the exercises, I found out what my super strengths and values are, and I just found it incredibly enlightening, and it just opened my mind to what I could achieve. I would recommend this book to anyone at any point in their career, and I honestly wish I could have read it years ago. Number 3, Everything is Figure-Outable by Marie Forleo. I really enjoyed this book. I read it along with the book club I'm a member of, Shelf Help, which I've linked to below if anyone else is interested in joining. This book is about so much more than Marie Forleo's Everything is Figure-Outable philosophy. I would argue it's about how to achieve your dreams. This book is really practical and actionable, and I got a lot out of the insight to action challenges at the end of each chapter. However, Marie is not for everyone. She's really sassy and confident, and some people might find her cheesy or in your face, but I liked her style of writing, so I just chose to embrace it. This book really helped me in starting my YouTube channel, and some of the main lessons from it were start before you're ready and progress, not perfection. I think this is a book that I'm going to come back to time and again when I need a spark of motivation. I would recommend this book to someone who has a dream and don't know how to achieve it, or someone who doesn't know what their dream is yet. Number 2, Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. Shoe Dog chronicles Phil's life from 1962 when he decided to put what he calls his crazy idea into practice, up until 1980 when Nike went public. This is my top business book in this list, but it actually feels more like a memoir. I was a bit worried about reading this book at first because it had such rave reviews and I just felt like it couldn't live up to the hype, but it did. It's just so well written and so entertaining and engaging, and I devoured it in a few days. It actually felt more like a novel at times because some of it just felt so unbelievable and it was just so full of drama. I would recommend this book to someone who likes business books, someone who likes Nike, someone who likes memoirs, but you don't have to like any of those things to like this book because it's just so well written, so entertaining and so engaging, so I highly recommend it. Before I reveal my top book of 2020, here's a reminder of the rest. At number 14, Emotional Agility by Susan David. Tied at number 12, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod and Mastering Your Mean Girl by Melissa Ambrosini. Number 11, Get Out of Your Own Way by Dave Hollis. Another tie at number 9 for Didn't See That Coming by Rachel Hollis and Happy by Fern Cotton. Number 8, Untamed by Glennon Doyle. Another tie at number 6 for Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg and Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. Into the top 5, we have Just Eat It by Laura Thomas. At number 4, The Squiggly Career by Helen Tupper and Sarah Ellis. Number 3 is Everything is Figure-Outable by Marie Forleo. And number 2, Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, my best book of 2020 is Girl Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis. I've read this book 3 times, which shows how much I enjoyed it. I think Girl Wash Your Face, which I talked about earlier, is actually easier to read and more enjoyable, but this book is much more actionable. It taught me a lot about goal setting, and I actually did a whole video, which again I will link to below, which talks all about Rachel's approach to goal setting. But what I love most about this book is just how inspired I feel reading it, and how motivated and how fired up. And Rachel just has that impact on me. And I recognize that everyone's different. So, everyone will have different writers and teachers that they get the most out of. But Rachel is definitely number one for me. One of my friends has gotten quite into Brené Brown recently. And she actually told me that she feels that Brené Brown is her Rachel Hollis. I'm not sure I would even have had the idea of starting this YouTube channel if it wasn't for Rachel Hollis. Reading her books, listening to her podcast, and all of that has really encouraged me to dream big and go for my goals. I would recommend this book to someone who wants more for their life and needs someone to fire them up. What do you think? Have you read any of these books? Do you agree with me? Have I made you want to read any of them yourself in 2021? Drop me a comment below to let me know. I've included information on all of these books and all of the authors in the description below. In my next video, I'm going to be talking all about the Miracle Morning and how I got on with the 30-day transformation challenge. Watch next time to find out more. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then please click subscribe and hit the bell so you can be the first to know about my future videos. Also, I'm on Instagram at BetterYouBooks, so give me a follow to see book inspiration and motivational quotes. Happy New Year! I hope you have a wonderful 2021, and I'll see you next time.